What if I told you that right now, at this very second, you're travelling at over 1,600 kilometers per hour? You're not in a plane. You're not on a rocket. You're standing still on Earth. But our planet is hurtling through space at incredible speeds. And everything you see around you, every building, every ocean, every person, is moving with it. But what happens in the next 60 seconds could change everything. Welcome back to Untold Realms, where we explore the catastrophic scenarios that reshape our understanding of reality itself. To understand what happens when Earth stops, we first need to understand just how fast we're already moving. Our planet completes one full rotation every 24 hours, but it doesn't rotate at a uniform speed. At the equator, the surface velocity reaches approximately 1,600 kilometers per hour. That's roughly 1,040 miles per hour. To put that in perspective, that's faster than commercial jets cruise through the air. At higher latitudes, the speed decreases. Someone standing in New York City is moving at about 900 kilometers per hour, while someone at the North Pole is barely moving at all, just a few meters per hour, rotating in place like a spinning top. But here's the crucial part. Everything on Earth's surface moves with the planet. The oceans, the atmosphere, the ground beneath your feet, your body, all of it is caught up in this rotation. We don't feel like we're moving because there's no friction between you and the planet. You're moving together at the same speed. It's exactly like being on an airplane at 35,000 feet. You feel stationary because everything around you is moving at the same velocity. You're moving at hundreds of kilometers per hour, but you don't feel a thing. This rotational motion is the result of angular momentum that dates back 4.5 billion years to when Earth formed from a spinning disk of cosmic dust and gas. Once something is spinning in space, it wants to keep spinning. It's the law of conservation of angular momentum, one of the most fundamental principles in physics. Now, imagine this. At exactly midnight, something impossible happens. A cosmic force, let's not worry about what, causes Earth to instantaneously stop spinning. The planet's rotation drops from 1,600 kilometers per hour to zero in a fraction of a second. The ground halts completely. Bedrock freezes in place. The crust becomes absolutely stationary. But here's where the nightmare begins. Everything on the surface of Earth isn't attached to the planet. You're not bolted down. The oceans aren't glued to the seabed. The atmosphere isn't locked in place. They're only held there by gravity and friction, and that's not enough to stop millions of tons of mass when Earth suddenly decelerates. The oceans would continue moving eastward at their original speed, 1,600 kilometers per hour at the equator. Imagine a tsunami so massive, so incomprehensibly powerful, that it would dwarf the tallest skyscrapers on Earth. We're not talking about a wall of water 30 feet high. We're talking about walls that could be thousands of feet tall, moving at supersonic speeds across every ocean on the planet. Every coastline on Earth would be obliterated. The entire population of coastal cities, that's billions of people, would be wiped out before they even realized what was happening. The Pacific coast of North America, the Atlantic shorelines of Europe and Africa, the coasts of Asia, Australia, South America, all gone. The devastation would happen so fast that communication systems wouldn't even have time to send warnings. Entire nations would simply vanish beneath the water. But the oceans are only half the story. The atmosphere, the air we breathe, would also continue moving eastward at supersonic speeds. We're talking about winds that would make Hurricane Katrina look like a gentle breeze. These aren't just strong winds. These are winds that exceed the speed of sound. Winds that would strip forests down to the bare earth. Winds that would reduce mountains of concrete and steel into powder. Every building on Earth would be subjected to forces they were never designed to withstand. Skyscrapers, those monuments to human engineering that take years to build, would shear apart at their bases like toothpicks in a hurricane. The Burj Khalifa, the Empire State Building, the tallest structures humanity has ever created, would simply snap. Asphalt would rip from roads, soil would be stripped away, exposing bedrock. Anything not anchored directly to the planet's crust would become a projectile. Imagine a debris field travelling at supersonic speeds. Chunks of concrete, metal, wood, entire vehicles, pieces of buildings, all flying through the air like bullets. A single splinter of wood travelling at that speed could pierce a human body. A piece of metal could cut through steel. The sky itself would become a lethal weapon. Forests across continents would be completely defoliated. Not a leaf would remain. Trees would be snapped in half. Agricultural areas would become barren wastelands. The dust and debris would block out the sun across massive regions of the planet. Temperatures would plummet. Those who somehow survived the initial impact would face starvation as crops are destroyed and livestock is killed across the globe. And then, 1 second later, the impossible happens again. Earth suddenly starts spinning. The planet accelerates back to its normal rotational velocity, 1,600 kilometers per hour at the equator. For a moment, you might think things would reset. Maybe the momentum of the oceans and atmosphere would carry them back to where they started. But this is where physics becomes truly merciless. When Earth suddenly accelerates again, everything on the surface would experience a massive directional change. Those eastward-moving oceans and atmospheric winds would suddenly find themselves moving westward relative to a planet that's now spinning beneath them. The collision would be catastrophic. We'd experience a second round of tsunamis, a second wave of supersonic winds, this time moving in the opposite direction. The temperatures would spike from the friction of all this movement. The ground would heat up. Forests would ignite spontaneously. Fires would spread across continents. The atmosphere would become so turbulent that weather systems would break down completely. Tornadoes would form across the planet simultaneously. The climate system would be thrown into complete chaos. Seismic activity would trigger as the crust experiences stresses it's never endured before. Earthquakes would devastate whatever remained standing. Volcanoes would erupt. The planet's core, which has been spinning at a different rate than the surface, would create incredible friction and heat. Most importantly, the damage would already be done. Billions of people would be dead within minutes. Civilization as we know it would cease to exist. Governments would collapse, supply chains would be destroyed. There would be no way to coordinate relief efforts because there would be nobody left to coordinate them. This scenario illustrates something profound that most of us take for granted every single day. We live on a planet that's actively maintaining the conditions necessary for our survival. Earth's rotation isn't just a physical phenomenon, it's the foundation of everything. It creates the day-night cycle that regulates our biology. It generates the magnetic field that protects us from solar radiation. It creates the Coriolis effect, which drives ocean currents and weather patterns. It maintains atmospheric circulation that distributes heat and resources across the planet. The fact that we can stand still and feel perfectly comfortable while hurtling through space at 1,600 kilometers per hour is an incredible blessing. The protective systems of our planet are so elegant, so precisely balanced, that we barely notice them until we imagine them failing. This is why scientists study planetary physics so carefully. This is why understanding our world matters. We're not just inhabitants of Earth. We're part of an incredibly finely tuned system. Every rotation, every magnetic field line, every atmospheric current is working to keep us alive. The next time you feel the breeze or watch the sunset, remember, you're experiencing the direct result of a planet spinning at incredible speeds, precisely balanced to maintain life. If this mind-bending exploration of planetary science fascinated you, you absolutely need to be part of the Untold Realms community. Hit that subscribe button right now. Turn on notifications so you never miss our next deep dive into the catastrophes, mysteries, and incredible truths about our universe. Share this video with someone who needs to understand just how precious and fragile our world really is. Drop a comment below. Tell us what would be the first thing you'd do if you knew Earth was about to stop rotating for 1 second. Your theories, your thoughts, your insights make this community incredible. We're exploring the untold stories of our universe, the scenarios that challenge our understanding of reality, and the science that governs our existence. Every video is designed to make you see the world differently. Every exploration is a journey into the unknown. So don't just watch, become part of this quest for knowledge. Subscribe to Untold Realms today. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey through cosmic reality. The next revelation awaits. Enjoyed the video? Hit subscribe for more cosmic catastrophes and science wonders.